Cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here in studio with us, Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. We're going to talk about coverages you may not have, may not understand, or know. We're going to talk all things insurance related, flood insurance. What's the latest update with all things coming out of flood and FEMA, how to navigate those waters. Also, Attorney Jason Kobal coming up on the program as well. And we want to let you know about our big party coming up, Dave. We got Thursday, April 24th, 5:30. Where are we going to be, man?
We are going to be over at the Threshers Stadium in Clearwater. So it's going to be a great time. It's going to be 5 different Chamber of Commercers that are getting together for this one. Lots of food, lots of everything going down there. Networking is going to be outstanding, of course. You get to also get to speak with a lot of the show hosts and guests. It is only $35 this time around because it has everything included. But yeah, it's going to be a great time. I believe it starts at 5:30 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, April 24th.
Networking, come on out, enjoy some baseball and some great networking fellowship. And a consumer quarterback show team going to be over there, and also other businesses. So you're going to have an opportunity to meet a lot of other businesses. So we're going to have our banners up, I think. We're going to be popped up some banners over there. You'll be able to find us, and going to be fun. Hey, we got a top 10 list for you. We're going to bring it back to top 10s, top 5s. Top 10 celebrities that live in Florida. Interesting. All right. Yeah, that's a good one, right?
That is a good one.
Yeah, something different, mix it up. Florida Best Quote Insurance coming up, more with Jason Mears. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. When you list with us, we're going to feature your listing on air. It's going to help you get a tremendous amount of extra exposure. We broadcast all the way down to Naples, Fort Myers, up to the Panhandle, over to Orlando. And when we pitch our listings, we're getting thousands of viewers and listeners every day on our talk show. So we really appreciate everybody that supports the show, supports the real estate business. My wife Lindsay and I own the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. All right, here's a hot listing here. Let's talk about this one at 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard. Beautiful property. This is over in Claremont. It's an estate-style, $1 million listing, just under $1 million. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2 full bath, and you have 3 full bath, 2 half bath. That is easy for me to say. 2-car garage, 3121 square feet, 1 acre of land, gated community with lake access. And this is a location thing. It's Magnolia Island, which there's only 30 homes in this community. So it's a rare gem at an excellent price. Check out 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard. Beautiful estate-style home, gorgeous pool, screened-in lanai, and pool and spa package there as well. Beautiful property also. All right, let's check out 1210 Paradise Lake Drive. This is a Tarpon Springs property, right close to the lake, right close to Lake Tarpon, the Tarpon Turtle there. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. You got 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 2-car garage, 2274 square feet. Getting a lot of showings on this one, Jason. When you kind of get those showings, you get a lot of activity. You kind of know that one's going to pop, right? When you're getting that activity. Getting a lot of showings on this home. Beautiful pool in the backyard, screened-in lanai, lighter color kitchen, stainless steel appliances, fireplace, lots of updates, lots of upgrades, split floor plan. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Made in America. Jason Mears back in studio with us. Thanks for joining, sir.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in. And, when we love the consumer advocacy approach because that's what's really got us through over a decade on air now, almost 12 years. And when you think about consumer advocacy, it's a lot of the things that we didn't learn in school. And then as we grow, as we age, as we have kids, we buy houses, we buy real estate, things change. So there's legislation, there's changes to the rules. Where are we at with the insurance spaces right now? What are you seeing out there?
A lot of good news. I think the home insurance market in general has stabilized as far as the insurance rates go. We're seeing a lot of companies reduce rates. We're seeing a lot of companies keep their rates the same, so not having these massive increases that we've had over the last few years. I think, and I know we'll talk a little bit about this, but I think a lot of people, because of the last 2 hurricanes that we had in the fall, are realizing that they didn't have certain coverages they thought they had or they wish they'd had. And so we're really encouraging people to consider adding certain coverages or certain policies to what they have if they can. But there's a lot of good news out there, man.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great news to see that insurances are starting to stabilize, and I think it's a hat tip to the state legislature.
It is.
You know, we've had Bernie Jacques on the show, county commissioners on the show, and some of the state reps, and they said, hey, look, you know, this was 6-8 months, a year ago, we were talking, hey, it's going to take a little time, but here's what we're doing behind the scenes. When they did some of the attraction models, I think that it's all about attracting businesses, attracting money and ventures into the state of Florida. What happens is you see that payoff 18, 24 months later, a lot like the tariffs. I know you don't want to get into tariffs today, but it's a lot like these tariffs, man. These tariffs are going to take time. I heard another one on the show, or on the way in this morning. I listened to a lot of talk radio, but Bassett, in Canada, they're a furniture maker. They decided, hey, with all these tariffs, we're going to bring it to North Carolina. I was listening to a show where they were interviewing a senator. I think it was like 150 jobs or something like that. But that's a lot of economic impact coming to the state. So I think that's going to be amplified even more. But it's similar. It's kind of relatable to insurances because there's a period of pain, and then it's going to get better.
Yeah, and that was and just kind of to echo what you're saying, 2022 is when we saw a lot of that. Towards the end of 2022, saw a lot of that legislative changes, and we were told then it's going to take a couple of years. And so we spent 2 years telling people, they've done a lot to kind of curb a lot of the roof fraud and different things that were going on that were driving the rates up. So the only thing we wish they'd done, maybe done it earlier, but they did get it done in 2022. And as they said, 2 years in, here we are, and things are starting to look a lot better. Yeah,
exactly. The one thing that's bad about that too is that the attorney's fees now are one way. It's not where it's challenging for a homeowner. So I don't like that part of that particular piece. But when it comes to coverages, I think a lot of people, business owners out there, homeowners, there's policies out there that people need to understand. Umbrellas, premises, replacement costs. What does this mean?
Well, just some things that we would recommend people consider, especially at this time of year. Coming out of the hurricanes last year, we basically had a flood event and a wind event back to back. Yeah. And a lot of people were trying to file their flood claims with Citizens, their home insurance company. A company that does not have flood coverage. And when we talk about flood coverage, we're specifically talking about water from outside of your house rising and coming into your house.
Right.
We're not talking about a leaky roof flooding your house, things like that. So, a lot of people, I think, have been told in the past that they just didn't need flood insurance, that they're in a low-risk flood zone, or unfortunately some people have said you're just not in a flood zone.
Right.
And when customers are told they're not in a flood zone and they don't need flood insurance, there's a false sense of security that has been built into that.
Yeah.
And so part of my job, I feel like going around teaching classes and trying to educate homeowners and realtors and lenders is to try to make sure that we're using the correct language on that people need to understand that, just because you're in a low-risk flood zone does not mean it's no risk. And there were thousands and thousands of people in this low-risk flood zone that flooded out during the last flood hurricane that we had. And so those are the people that are like, I wish I'd had flood insurance. So we changed one thing we did to kind of dive into that a little bit more is we're just sending out flood quotes regardless with our home insurance quotes, regardless of what the flood zone is. And, a lot of people really wish they'd have spent that $500-600 a year just to have some flood coverage in that low-risk flood zone, because a lot of times it's very, very inexpensive just to get some coverage that would have saved people a lot of money from this past storm. So,
absolutely. Disclaimer for realtors is, at Keller Williams Realty, we take very serious the potential to get sued. Every year with the Ubaldini Group, we have these risk aversion classes, and you go in and it's like, hey, look, the language you say, what you put in writing, you don't go around telling people they don't need to buy insurance or flood insurance, or you're not an insurance policy, or you're not an insurance agent. But
stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. That's right. Same thing when it comes to CPA. What are my taxes? What do I have? What am I going to pay on this? Hey, look, I can give you some general guidance, but you'd probably want to talk to, for our show, we talk about Dwayne Bischoff, CPA of Tampa Bay. When we're talking insurances, we're talking Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance. And these are the things that can get you in big-time trouble as a professional. And like you said, the policies are very affordable. in those low risk areas. So it's almost like, why wouldn't you pay that extra $500 to have a policy to cover when you do get that 100-year storm, right?
Exactly, which we had, and I kind of look at it as, the whole state of Florida is in a flood zone, basically, right? It's we've seen in the past years before, especially like, I'll give you an example, we've seen cul-de-sacs, for instance, that it's a cul-de-sac, but the homes are built up, there's no problems, we're fine, but debris comes into from the hurricane comes in and clogs up those drains, and all the water pools in the cul-de-sac and just rises.
Right.
And so a lot of times just little things like that can cause flooding. But we just want people to consider flood insurance no matter what, unless you're like the 5th floor of a condo or something like that. But as far as if you have a home, consider it. At least let us quote it. And then for those people that have flood insurance, a lot of those people did not have contents coverage because when they got the policy, they were just trying to save money. I don't need any contents coverage, and now they're regretting that they didn't have any contents coverage. So if you have a policy with no contents, that you might want to consider adding just something, $10,000, $20,000 of contents coverage.
Yeah, exactly. And there's points where you can have deductibles raised, raise that deductible, lower the premium, right? There's some balances you can do there. Yeah,
and we see that a lot, especially since, we were kind of created around the real estate transaction, and so we work a lot with buyers. That's what we've kind of built our business model around through the years. And so we see that a lot at the closing table where people are, I've got to get the amount down to this, for my DTI, debt to income ratio and stuff. And so we always tell people, if you're going to increase your deductibles or cut your contents coverage just to qualify for the loan or just to get to the closing table, afterwards you want to lower those deductibles back down. I mean, if you've got a 5% hurricane deductible, that's 5% of your dwelling coverage. If you don't have that money sitting in the bank, you don't have coverage for a hurricane.
Yeah, half a $1 million house, $25,000 out of pocket before the insurance kicks in.
Exactly. So you've got to consider that if you're going to increase your deductibles. If it gets you to the closing table, fine. But at some point, you need to think about lowering those deductibles back down.
Right. Absolutely. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's also an educator. So you go around and you teach other agents. You're teaching at different boards and different real estate offices, and you're talking about what in those classes? What are you talking normally?
Well, it depends. I mean, the classes I guess recently I've been mainly focusing on really trying to teach realtors, how do you prepare your house? How do you know if this listing is insurable? I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Is my listing insurable has been the class. And then here in the next month or two, we're going to kind of shift into hurricane preparedness. How can we as insurance agents, you as a realtor, mortgage companies, how can we all work together during hurricane season to make sure that deals don't fall apart at the last minute? Because when a hurricane is close, all the insurance companies put restrictions in place. They shut down. You can't bind a policy. So what can we all do to partner together to make sure that doesn't happen? So that's I'm getting ready to start focusing a lot on that. But yeah, I go all over. I'll be in Fort Myers I'm driving there later today.
Nice.
And then I'll be in Miami Beach in a couple days too.
Very cool. All right. I like it. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. And these are elements that, when you think about it from a homeowner's perspective, I think a lot of times about the seniors, the seniors that have been in these homes so many times that the policy just gets renewed year after year. Yeah. We've talked about that scenario where, they're overpaying for coverage that they probably don't need, or maybe they're underinsured because, things have gone up in value. Replacement costs, for example, a lot of the COVID era, caused a strain on the raw materials coming into the country, so then your cost of replacement. So all these things are reasons to call and reach out to Jason Mears, get a review. Just go ahead and save our hotline number in your phone if you don't have it, but give us a call or a text if you'd like to be introduced to Jason, and he'll go through a no cost, no obligation type thing where you're going to just have a conversation around your insurances. You can also talk about an umbrella policy. If you're having parties at your house, somebody slips in the pool, all those things. There's ways that you can protect yourself. 813-917-1894. You can call or text that show hotline. It's an off-air number, 813-917-1894. You can also email us through our website at consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors' previous shows as well. And subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're there, too. Click on the videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Great content putting out daily there from 80 different categories of consumer advocates. We interview all types of great business owners and accounting in their field, 80 different categories: attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, home service providers, so many different ways that we help you as a consumer advocate, also nonprofit organizations, etc. So more with Jason Mears coming up. We're also going to talk about top 10. We got top 10 celebrities that live in Florida. We'll talk about some of those folks. And coming up, Jason Kobal as well. We're going to talk work comp law, personal injury law with him. Got a feel-good story later on in the program as well. Sunshine Coast recycles wastewater to irrigate farms instead of dumping into a river. This is a story out of Australia, so we'll talk about that. Feel-good story of the day coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon BRimes here. Did you know that we buy houses cash? We will close quickly and give you a fair offer on your home or residential properties, even commercial properties, and we will give you a fair cash offer, close quickly, and be diligent when you're shopping these types of scenarios, because a lot of the wholesalers, the flippers out there, they will sign you up on an as-is contract, and they will shop that contract and try to find a buyer, but they may not find the buyer, and they won't close. So this is Brandon BRimes, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Brandon BRimes, we buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. That is my direct cell. You can call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon BRimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Brandon BRimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings coming up. Also, top 10 celebrities that live in Florida. We're going to be breaking down that list here coming up in just a moment. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We've got a property at 221 Howard Drive, Bel Air Beach. $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3,500 square foot single family home. Gorgeous 3-island kitchen with Thermador appliances. You have a saltwater pool, 100 feet of linear water frontage. And the historic Howard Drive boasts one of the highest land elevations in the area. 221 Howard Drive, beautiful Bel Air Beach, Florida property. 1318 Roosevelt Drive. This one's in Venice, Florida. Beautiful property we have listed. Getting a lot of showings on this one, too. This one's about to pop. I got the feeling that, as a realtor, you kind of know when they're about to go under contract. Venice, Florida. Beautiful 322, 1,853 square feet, single-family home. You have lower HOA and CDD fees there. You also have a kitchen that has stainless steel appliances. Beautiful lanai in the back, large lanai, no backyard neighbor, lighter color kitchen, stainless steel appliances, 1318 Roosevelt Drive, Venice, Florida. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, quick shout out to Lee's Royal Services, longtime friend of the show. All your home and office cleaning, leesroyalservices.com. Say hello to Lee. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. leesroyalservices.com. And we're talking with Jason Mears, Florida Best Quote Insurance here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And Jason, we wanted to get to some of these other coverages that people should consider.
Yeah, man. I think I'll just run through about maybe 4 of them real quick. Umbrella policy, I think a lot of people don't consider. That's basically you can add $1 million, $2 million or more liability coverage to your home insurance policy, which typically would be $300,000. So now you'd have $1,300,000 of liability. And then the same thing for your auto insurance policy. That's what's called an umbrella. So all the properties you own and all the cars, the vehicles you own, it just adds $1 million or more of liability coverage. There's also one that's called a premises only policy, which basically doesn't add anything to your auto policy. It just adds liability coverage, extra liability coverage just to your home insurance policy. It's like an extra layer of protection if someone was to get injured on your home. So that would be 2 of the main ones. And then a lot of people don't know that their home insurance policy, most standard home insurance policies don't come with replacement cost on the contents. They just cover the contents at the depreciated value or the actual cash value. And so you end up in a storm and you're looking to get that $1,000, couch covered, and you're only getting $200 because it was you had it for several years and the value dropped. So that's extra expense, of course, but people just need to know if that's something you don't have and you would like it, you can call and get that changed anytime during the year.
Right.
And then the last thing would just be jewelry coverage. A lot of people think I've got this $10,000 ring, it's automatically covered on my home insurance. That's not the case. You have to schedule that or add that coverage to the policy and itemize it, or get a separate policy. So those are 2 things that we could help somebody do.
And that's anything that's outside of the norm, like a snore.
Most policies might cover an individual item like that for $1,500, $2,000, $3,000. But if it's a $10,000 ring, you're not going to get that $10,000 back.
Okay.
You're not. You've got to itemize it, put it on the home insurance policy, or we can write a separate jewelry policy for you.
All right. Top 10 celebrities that live in Florida. You want to take a guess? You want to take a guess?
Well, I
here?
thought Hulk Hogan for sure, but I think he's a Tampa guy.
The Hulkster,
but it's got to be the president.
He's on our list for another. He's on our list for another day. That's just going to be the Tampa list. I guess he wasn't big enough to make it the Florida list. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, they left President Trump off the list too.
Wow.
So you got number 1 coming in here.
Tiger Woods got to be on there.
Tiger's number 5.
Okay.
Yep. So you got number 5. Top 10 celebrities who live in Florida. Pitbull, number 1. Mr. What does he call him? Is he the one that says Mr. 305? He's the one, Mr. 305.
He's Miami, yeah.
John Travolta, no?
John Travolta. Let's see. Nope.
Nope.
Wait, I don't think so. Number 2, Flo Rida. So you got 2 musicians up front. You got some rapper musicians.
Some R&B guys here.
You got Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay.
Arguably the biggest actor, I would say. Probably.
He could have been number 1 over the other 2 guys.
He's pretty big actor as far as pulling down the bucks. He's up there. Got to be. Serena Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, playing some tennis. Tiger Woods. Did you see that movie with the Serena sisters? Or Serena, the Williams sisters? That was a good one.
Yeah.
The dad working hard for him, getting them out there. Number 6, Gloria Estefan. So kind of a name from the past.
Man.
Yeah.
I guess she's probably still around doing concerts.
I think we ate at a restaurant she owns now in Orlando when we had a little trip over there. Venus Williams makes the list at number 7. So we're talking top 10 celebrities that live in Florida. Julio Iglesias, another musician, right?
We're pulling out of the 80s here, man.
That's old school. What about your favorite 7-footer that lives in Florida? Shaquille.
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal. And then rounding it out, how about some Ice Baby? Vanilla Ice Baby.
We need to get some up-to-date celebrities to move to Florida.
I know, man.
We got a lot of the old 80s people just hanging around out here.
Yeah, there's your top 10.
Travolta not on there over
Travolta, yeah, I guess. Yeah, he's big time. Yeah, he's big time, man. He's been shaking, doing it since not Footloose, but what's that other movie where he's dancing
Saturday Night Fever?
Yeah, that's it. All right, Jason Mears, thanks for coming in, man.
It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, good stuff. Coming up, Attorney Jason Kobal. We're going to talk a little Tampa work comp law. He might update us on one of his rideshare cases. Interesting story there coming up as well. Feel-good story of the day. Sunshine Coast recycles wastewater to irrigate farms instead of dumping into a river. Interesting story out of Australia. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.